We always said great things don't come from comfort zones. I think that if I were to explain Tommy to you guys in college, like the first thing that comes to mind, free spirit. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want kids now.
Crazy, huh? So the grass that we're standing on.
Exactly.
On this side.
What rapper can you find in a toolbox?
No MSR. Sorry, guys.
People. ASMR.
So I said it right?
No.
ASMR.
Okay, let's dive in.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Nguyen Nguyen Wednesday, where we upload an episode every single week. And this podcast is all about us sharing our lives with you, sharing the things that we're going through, the things that we're processing, maybe the tensions or challenges that we're feeling. And we just talk about it with you and let you know how we're feeling and how we're navigating through it in real time on a week-to-week basis. So if you're new here, welcome to the podcast. It's so good to have you. And if you're a returning subscriber or viewer, welcome back. It's so good to see you. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Tommy Nguyen.
And I'm Sopa Nguyen. You guys, if you're watching on YouTube, you might see that we're in a whole new setup. We haven't been on our couch since probably our first episode of It's a Win-Win months ago. And we thought it'd be fun to try something new. And so we're here on the couch. So if you guys prefer to watch the podcast, you can check it out on YouTube on It's a Win-Win. Or if you're listening on podcasts, that's great too, because some people are driving. We want to keep you guys safe while you're listening to the podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in. And so last week we did take a break from the podcast, and thank you to those who reached out and were like, hey, are you guys going to upload? I thought that was really sweet. My mom texted me. She's like, no YouTube today. I was like, no, not this week.
No.
But we took a break, and thank you guys for letting us take that break. I thought it was really needed. We took some time to explore where we live, and we explored California a little more. So we did a little mini road trip, I guess you could say. Right.
Yeah, it was a road trip. We went down to SoCal. Do we want to share where we went?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we took a trip down to SoCal, Southern California, and we did pretty much almost, I wouldn't say the full extent of it. We didn't go as far as San Diego, but we started in Santa Barbara, really cool city, which we've never been to, a lot slower than Silicon Valley. And then where did we go next?
And then we went to Malibu, and then we went to LA. And then we went to Orange County, like Irvine, Pasadena, down to Newport Beach. So we took a little chunk of Southern California, I guess, and explored.
Yeah,
so
and,
it was really fun.
What did we do when we're down, in those cities? What was like the big thing you think we did?
I mean, I think we'll have different answers for that, but Tommy went surfing in Malibu for the first time. So that was really fun. He said he rode the wave of his life.
Yeah, so I really did ride the wave of my life. It was a super long wave. It probably went on for like 200 yards, which is like the longest wave I've ever ridden, and it just felt so surreal when I was on it. It was amazing.
And then I got my hair and makeup done because I'm like, if I'm going on vacation, I want to treat myself and do things that I don't normally do. And so I got my hair and makeup done at Pout by Lipstick Nick. If you guys are into beauty, the beauty community here on YouTube, or in general, like makeup, Lipstick Nick is a huge name, and she does makeup for huge makeup brands. You've probably seen her work at like the mall and other things, magazines, you name it. So I went to Pout by Lipstick Nick, got my hair and makeup done, and we vlogged a lot of this. And so we're going to upload it on our YouTube channel as Tommy begins to edit all of the vlogs. And then I basically picked all the restaurants that we were going to go eat at, asked our friends for recommendations. I felt like we ate some of the best food I've ever ate on this trip. And so I guess I'm a foodie. Someone asked me if I'm a foodie, and I think I am. So that was a highlight for me.
I guess it depends on what you consider a foodie, but I would consider that like a foodie trip, because our main like goal was to try, all the foods, not all the foods, but all the best foods that LA or SoCal had to offer. And we tried a bunch of different types of food, from like sushi to like Vietnamese food. What else did we try? Tacos. We had some tacos down there.
Yeah, I tried to find like California cuisine type places on OpenTable, if you guys are familiar with it. Basically, OpenTable is a place to reserve restaurants for, like, if they're on the app, you can reserve a table versus like going directly through the restaurant. I guess it's a lot easier to discover restaurants. And so we went to California style cuisine places. That's kind of what I looked up, because I didn't want, stuff that I could get in San Jose. I wanted stuff that was special to Santa Barbara or special to...
So like more SoCal.
or
type
just
stuff.
special to like the city that we were in, because I think everyone offers something different. So yeah, that's what we did. That's why we took some time off, and it was super spontaneous. We didn't really have a plan. Like I didn't know what we were doing, where we were eating until like a day or two before we were about to leave.
Yeah, it was really spontaneous. We didn't
Yeah.
really plan things out until like the night of for each day. We kind of figured out like where we wanted to go. Okay, we're gonna pick these locations, check these places out, and then we ended up stopping at other places along the way. Just kind of like, oh, this sounds like a cool place to stop. So we just kind of stopped there along the way to the next planned stop.
Yeah, super spontaneous, but I loved it. I felt like my soul needed it. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling ready to go. We're heading into a really, I think, not busy time. I guess busy
Yeah, it
time.
is. I think we're going into a busy season. Busy season where we're
Yeah.
gonna really ramp up with a lot of the things that we're doing with our work.
Yeah, everything's ramping up pretty hard right now. And it feels weird because mostly people are not ramping up during summertime, I would say, because a lot of people are going on vacation, things like that, which is normal. But I think with the time that we just came out of with COVID, it's really changed a lot, I think, for people and like what's important to them. And I don't know, I think we've had a lot of time to take rest at home, and now I'm just like ready to like ramp. I guess we've rested. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say I'm refreshed, I'm recharged, I'm renewed, I'm refocused, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. So basically, with this new month, we are excited. It's July 2021, you guys. We're 7 months into the new year. I mean, 2020 went by really slow, but 2021 is just speeding along. I'm excited about July because it's Tommy's birthday month. He's turning 29, right? 29.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. I think I get more excited about birthdays than Tommy does. I feel like I celebrate him more than he celebrates himself. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but to me, birthdays are exciting, and I'm going to celebrate you if it's your birthday, especially if it's my husband, right? And then Jackie is going on maternity leave the same exact day as Tommy's birthday. And so that is something to celebrate. And so little baby Keone is on his way, and I cannot wait. And so there's so much in July that I'm excited for. And last but not least, I hinted this on my Instagram, and some of you reached out about it, but we are refining what we're doing at Soul Gold, refining our target market, and offering some new services that we've never offered publicly to a whole new target market. So I kind of want to dive into that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, with everything that Sopal mentioned, one of the big kind of new things, or not new, like not completely new, but a change that we're basically kind of going through right now is, within our business. Our business foundationally is going to be the same. It's going to be, if you don't know, if you're a new viewer or a new listener, what we do is marketing and media. That's the foundation of our business. And we have, just through this past year, we've made a couple of realizations. And as we're processing through our business, of course, we always we want to continue to strive to improve our business and be the best we can be, and also be wise in our business decisions and direction we're headed, right? So, we made that realization. We kind of, I think it's an evolving thing, right? We've been in business for 5 years, so we're learning every single year. There's not a year that we don't learn. And sometimes you learn the hard way, sometimes you learn the easy way. And, for us right now, we're just learning, and we're just putting together what we're learning and then making decisions based off of that.
Yeah, trying to make smart decisions in the business. And like Tommy said, we're constantly adapting, constantly evolving. And I think that's so important in not only business, but just life in general. It's really important to us to just not remain the same, unless same is good, unless what you're doing is great. But what we were learning is that we were ready to evolve Soul Gold, our business,
Yeah,
in ways that we've never done before.
and to really adapt to the changing times, right? And I think so. Right now, we're making the transition from, so with our business, when we first started, we were really wanting to work with tech companies, tech startups, which we've done, and we've also worked with small businesses, right?
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
helping them with their social media marketing or their marketing and media in general, and that was great. And we were offering, I guess, services to a general market for the most part, right? We still had our niches within tech.
Even then, though, it was kind of just like when we got referrals, we tried our best to take on the client if they were a good fit. And a good fit was just like, are they respectful? Are they kind? Are they easy? Are they going to be good to work with? Is it going to be a healthy working relationship? It wasn't like are they software as a service? Are they hardware, software? What are it wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily like a good fit in that sense. Or working with tech companies in that reason. It's just we had awesome referrals. We had people giving us amazing clients, and we're just like, sure, we're going to take it on. But with so we were focused, but not as focused as we could have been.
Yeah, so the transition we're making here is really being refined in who we want to work with now, in the long term. And as we're thinking through, like, us as a business, it's like, how do we have a sustainable business that's repeatable, that we continue to get more clients and continue to get repeat business? Because what we've learned is that, like, when we get referrals, that's great. And our business really is built on relationships. It's all about relationships for us with our clients, and then with our clients' clients even, right? We do a lot of the communication for them because it is marketing. Marketing is communication. So we're developing relationships here and there, pretty much in and out of the business, all through around. And so what we've realized is, and this is to provide a little bit more context on maybe the reason why we're making this transition, and it's that we realized that we invested so much time in developing relationships, which I believe is one of the most key things. It's very important, but it gets to a point where you're kind of capped. So we were in these networking groups, right, or referral groups is what we call it, business groups.
It was like referral marketing.
Referral marketing, and we're spending time developing these relationships with each person, and you would have like one-to-one meetings, is what you call it, and you only have so much time in a day to be able to meet with people and talk to people and stay connected. And one of the ways we like to stay connected is this right here. Like, we're talking to you guys through the podcast, right? And
You can reach more people with one video versus us meeting with coffee all throughout town with one person at a time.
So, with that, it was great. It is great to be able to do that, develop those relationships, because ultimately it does come back. You'll get referrals, right? And that's how you get business. And, that was one of our ways of getting business. And it worked really well for, I would say, the first like 3 to 4 years.
Definitely.
And it definitely has slowed down. And that's okay, because it does slow down. Things will go up, and then, they will come down. And so now,
I also want to add that I was on a different mindset and different time in my life when I started Soul Gold, where it was just me basically in the beginning, because Tommy had another job, so he could only do so much. But I would book out my days of meeting with people one-on-one, because I'm like, people need to know who I am. And so I feel like a lot more energy for that. I had a lot more time for that. But then now that we're married and I'm part of Eden and other things, and I have friends now, my time is spent differently than it was when I was first starting Soul Gold. I had no family here. I had no friends here. And all I was doing was trying to grow my business. And now I'm just learning what's important to me. And relationships are still definitely the most important to me. But I know we can grow Soul Gold even greater than I did when I started it, and be more efficient with our time, basically.
yeah. And with the whole time, like what you said, time is important, relationships are important. That's in our previous podcast, actually, that we came out with. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure to go check that out, and listen to our thought process on what success looks like for us. So to continue, so we're making a transition from that target market into real estate, and the reason why is, so what we started to realize is that we were looking for repeatable business, because when you have repeatable business, it's sustainable. And what we were doing before was repeatable because we were getting referrals, right? So we were getting business from clients we've already had or connections that we've already had, and that's great. But what we realize is it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of investment in that, and we just didn't have all the time in the world anymore, because now it's like, okay, we're networking, we're making connections, we're maintaining relationships, but now we also got to deliver for clients. We got to give our best to our clients and give them the time that they need.
And our team.
And we also have a team, right? We have a team of people that we work with. So we're nurturing those relationships. We're coordinating with them. We're managing them. We're helping, lead them to make sure that we can provide the best service to our clients as we can. So when you think about it as like a business owner or like an entrepreneur, there's a lot of hats you wear a lot of the time, especially like early on in your business. And it's like you're doing this, you're doing that. And then sometimes you feel like you have this to-do list or this checklist, and you check things off or you get things done, and it's just like another pile comes in. You finish another pile, and it's like almost an endless cycle
Never ending.
and never ending. So, as we look at our business and as we continue to like wanting to evolve our business and ultimately live a life that we want to live, right? We don't want to work for a business. We want our business to work for us. So,
And with social media management, a lot of it felt the opposite sometimes, where it's like we were working for our clients. I don't know. It was weird. Like, obviously, we're there to serve our clients and to manage their socials, but man, that takes a lot of time, energy, dedication, and learning. It's like a constant. It's like a whole nother thing I'm learning. And our
yeah,
team,
I
it's
mean,
just all different
I think the
stuff.
big difference between us and some of the people, like our competitors, right, like other people who do maybe social media management, is that we really do take the time to understand our clients, understand who they are. So when we do our work for them, it looks as if they were doing it, but it's really us. So we spend a lot of time doing that, and that it's a process and it's a lot of investment. But kind of just moving into that transition. So real estate. So we looked at real estate and we're like, okay, this is a perfect market. We have a lot of connections within the industry already. We have realtor clients already. We have we had mortgage clients, brokerages. Like, so we already kind of in that space. We already have an existing audience there. So I thought about it more. I'm like, okay, how can we help serve the real estate industry the best we can with our knowledge, with our background, with what we know? I'm like, man, this is like perfect because what is real estate, right? It's like property, it's housing, it's buildings, and everyone needs a place to stay. Everyone needs a building to live in, or a building to have an office, or a residence to sleep in, right? So it's always going to be there. So I'm thinking, 100,000 feet ahead, or, bird's eye view. It's like, I think this is going to be the market where we can really land and settle in, so we can build a sustaining business that's not going to burn us out, right?
So basically, what you're saying is that real estate is always going to be there. Homes are always going to be here. It's going to be a necessity. It's like a common necessity that, people want and need. And real estate's not going anywhere, right? It's like
Yeah.
constant construction going on. The real estate market is just constant. Like, it's always going to be there.
People need homes, right?
People need homes. And so the thing with real estate is that it's always there. It's a need, right? And then these realtors, there's also a need to market their properties, to market their listings. And so we saw a need versus like a want based thing, because social media management was what we've been doing for years. I've been doing it since 2013, where people want it. Is it a need? Like, is it a make or break for a business? No, it's not. Should they have it? Not everyone should, but I'd say most people should have social media because it's super important. But it wasn't a need.
It's not a necessity to a business, right?
Right.
Social media. Some businesses thrive off social media, and that's the only thing that they implement in their marketing strategy, which is 100%,
Which is amazing.
which is great, right? And then some businesses don't need it as much, or it's not as much value to their business, where it's more maybe of a booster or supporter.
Right.
Where some, it's like, this is it. This is all we use.
And everyone values social at a different level, right? We have
Yeah.
some people that we know that value social at their highest thing. They're like, social is what brings my business, right? It's amazing. They need it. And you have some clients that are like, oh, I just want to pay low dollar. Like, I just want to be on social to be on social. And it's like, all right. So, people value it differently, but realtors value their listings because that's what makes them money,
So
and the
yeah.
photos and all the things.
So what we learned is to go from something that is possibly sustainable, but it would take a lot of effort, and we'd probably be working 18-hour days, or to something that is going to be sustainable, and it's not going to take us 18 hours a day, right? And so we moved into that because we understand that agents need to sell homes. How do they sell homes, right? What sells the homes? It's photos. You need photos of the listing or the properties. And we understand in this time and this kind of crazy market right now that some people are just buying property, sight unseen. They don't even need photos. But then the majority, you're gonna need photos. You go on Zillow, you go on Redfin, you go on Realtor.com, you're gonna see photos of homes, because how are most people gonna buy a home? They're gonna want to at least see photos of it. You're not just gonna buy something and not look at it. I mean, there are exceptions, sure. But okay, we found that need. and we kind of thought it through. And then realtors, they're not just going to sell one home. They're going to sell multiple homes in their career, right? A realtor, especially
That's the goal.
one that's hustling, that's like, trying to get things done. They're going to sell multiple homes a year. And then and then what do they need? Photos. So that's repeat business. That's be something that's going to be sustainable in the long term. And that's something, I mean, to me, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, when we figured this out, it like clicked for us where we're like, all right, social media management has honestly slowed down. Like the referrals have slowed down. The new contracts that we're signing have slowed down. And this is just me being super honest and transparent with everybody because I feel like there's always this persona that a lot of business owners around me put that they're like, "Oh, business is so busy, it's so successful." I'm like, "It's okay to like say you've had a rough year." You know? And for me, I always just lead with honesty with that. And I think people are kind of shocked because everyone here doesn't want to see that like struggle. They don't want to show that their business has struggled. I'm like, hey, it's all right. It's okay. It's fine. A lot of people have struggled this year. So like for us, we're like, it's weird. I've never had this slow of a sales cycle or the funnel of clients coming in are so much slower. And I feel like because of that, it's because social media marketing is not the necessity for some people, even though they had a huge opportunity during COVID because everyone's at home. But besides that, it's slowed down a lot and people aren't wanting to spend as much as they used to when we first started So Gold. When we first started So Gold, people knew less about social media. And I already had the professional experience. So I just like went in and just killed it, did it with excellence. And now you can find social media marketers on Fiverr for like $5, or Upwork for $10 an hour.
Yeah, sure. And I think what you pay for is what you get.
Right.
And I truly believe in that. And I think it depends on who you ask if it's slowed down, right? For like
That's true.
For even for social media, it really depends on who you ask because some people in this time have really thrived, have made the most they've ever made in their careers, and then some maybe it has slowed down. So I think it just really depends on who you ask.
That's true. I just feel like when people ask me, they're just surprised that I'm like, oh yeah, it's actually a little bit slower than what I've ever had in my whole business journey. And people are like, oh, okay. It's just more of an observation that what I've seen when talking to other fellow business owners in the area, they're just like, oh, I can't believe she's actually saying that. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you would think social media has skyrocketed, which in some areas it has, where a lot of companies or businesses are forced to go digital.
Right.
They're forced to pivot, and if you don't, then your chances of survival through this pandemic where the economy was down, I think it's coming back up because people are just ready to get out and just honestly spend money and just go on vacations, go on trips. But yeah, I think it really does depend on who you talk to.
Yeah. So basically, you guys, we're so excited about this. We are refining who we're working with, and that is real estate agents. We're in real estate. So now we're real estate marketers, and we're going to be helping with photos and videos for these properties and for these agents. And we're so excited because real estate has always inspired us. Since I was a kid, I always thought I was going to be a real estate agent. And then I don't know why I changed my mind, maybe because tech and stuff sound more exciting. Being a web developer sound more exciting. But my sister Savali, she used to do real estate when I was like in elementary school, and I would go to work with her as a kid. Not that I necessarily am saying I want to be a realtor, but it has always been interesting to me. And I would go and drive around her area with her and just look at beautiful houses, like since I was a kid. And then I'd buy like interior design magazines when I was in high school, have them in my room. And it was just always something that interested me. And then Tommy, obviously background in construction, he thought he was like going to be an architect when he was a kid.
Yeah. Growing up, I wanted to be an architect. I literally drew houses, in my sketchbook, and that's what I loved. Like that's what I wanted to be. And going to school, I actually became, I guess you could call it a like digital architect in a way, because I worked a lot with like digital virtual 3D models.
Yes.
So in some way, I kind of became that, but not really. Kind of like
a different,
in a different space,
a very specialized one. And I think Purdue's program is amazing for construction management, but. Yeah, so I think it just all clicked. Like as we were processing our business and looking through, and we're like, I mean, I honestly needed the break from social media management, to be very honest with you guys. It's probably why it slowed down because of, you put in what you get out, right? And I'm like, I just needed a break from it because it's a lot of work. And so when this real estate stuff came up and we're just analyzing, and we had so much fun decorating our space, which I don't know if you guys can see, but like some of these frames behind me aren't even filled. Like we're in the process of like decorating our home still. And it's just something that has been so fun to us and interesting. And then that's just what we're doing now. We're doing real estate marketing.
Yeah. So just a quick plug in, like, if you're thinking of Soul Gold marketing, or you think of Soul Gold, or you think of us, think about real estate. Think about real estate marketing and
Yes.
media.
And you'll see more stuff coming out on our social, our
Oh yeah.
website. We're just slowly going to be introducing this. So all of our It's a Win-Win people are getting the inside scoop, really.
Well, I don't know if we're slowly going into, we've been in the background behind the
True.
scenes, really working on a lot of things, and we're going to be launching next week.
Yeah.
Our website's going to change, our language, a lot of those things. So we actually been working on it in the back end. So it's going to really, everything is going to be, it's going to be like a switch. Everything's going to flip. So I don't know if it's going to be slowly rolling out. I think it's going to, we're coming out,
That's true.
coming out hot.
It feels slow on my end because we've been doing this for so long and it's been so under wraps where like I haven't been able to share it because we just wanted to get everything in order first, at least as much as we could.
Yeah, because I think strategy and planning is very important before you roll out something like this.
Absolutely.
That's it's a little bit newer. It's not new in terms of what we do. It's just a different, refined target market.
I'm so excited because all of our processes are going to be amazing based on what I've seen Tommy working on, because that's really what he does at Soul Gold. I'm excited. Like it's going to be new. It's going to be fresh. I think that our personalities thrive on change, and I'm just pumped up. So we wanted to share this with you guys, and basically we're stepping into this new service, I guess you could say, and trusting the process, which is the title of today's podcast.
It's a new space we're stepping into, and we're stepping into it with confidence. And so that's the whole reason why we have this episode today, and that's change and stepping into new things. And while we're doing that, have confidence in it, because we can trust the process, because we've gone through changes, we've done it before. It's not, all the changes are different, right? But then we have to trust the process. So I mean, that's really the main point here of this episode today, is like, as you're watching right now or listening, if you're thinking about making a change in your life, or if you're thinking about taking this next step, we want to encourage you and empower you to be able to do that in confidence, and then just trust the process. Put in the work and just trust that things will work out. And it doesn't always 100% happen all the time, which is okay. And sometimes you learn in that process, right? And you still can gain something from it. But to me, it beats not making that change, not making that step, and being in misery, right? And instead of like taking that next step and seeing what's on the other side. If you're ready for that. Not everyone feels that way, right? Not everyone wants to change, which is totally fine. Human nature, us naturally, we don't like change. We resist change naturally. When something goes wrong or goes different, we immediately naturally just kind of pull back. But if you're in that season in your life right now, you're feeling maybe stagnant, you're not feeling satisfied, and you want something different, take that next step. And for example, some of our friends, we talked about moving. Talk about like Gina moving. Like, I'm so excited for her. I'm so happy for her that she's taking this next step in her life and just making a change. She grew up here in the Bay Area and she moved all the way to the East Coast. That's phenomenal. That's crazy. That's awesome. That's amazing.
And essentially she's trusting the process, right?
Yeah.
And if there's something in your life that you want to change or you're just not entirely happy with, I feel you. Like, we've all been there, right? That's a reason why we change. We're changing what we're doing in our own business, but trusting the process and having faith going into it that there can be good that happens. And if anything, I always remember I have something to fall back on. I can literally do social media management if this all goes and fails, right?
Yeah, we can always go back to that, right?
And if social media management fails, I can go back to web design and development.
Yeah, because we went to school for that. Right? Yeah.
And so I'm always remembering that we always have backup plans and all these things to fall back on. And so does Gina, and so do my friends Chelsea and Chamberlain, who moved, and like everyone else in our life, right? That's taking these steps of faith and trusting the process. We had the backup plans. And so I personally have always struggled with this idea of like, Sophie's the social media person. Like, since I was in college, I've been known, since I was in high school, people would like, that's what I was known for. The person who understood all this website stuff and design and like photo, video, like all that has always been just ingrained in who I am and how people identify me. And so I struggled with the idea of switching to real estate marketing because it felt so different, because we're shooting properties and doing stuff with homes. It's not social media campaigns anymore. It's not just hashtag strategy. It's a whole different thing. And I struggled basically because I grew up in a place like in Indiana where people are so faithful to the jobs that they're in and the careers that they've been in it since they were like in high school or after college, that they've worked at these companies for all their life until retirement. And so I have this view of like what it looks like to be faithful into in your job and your career, and they don't change very much. And so for me, in my mind, I was like, man, I'm making this pretty big change. It is a big change, and I'm nervous. I'm like, I've built a reputation of Soul Gold for social media marketing. Everyone who knows me here knows I do social media because I've worked so hard to let people know that. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be different now. Like Soul Gold's Instagram is going to be all real estate, and basically being okay with that. Like it's okay to change, and it's okay to try new things.
And also, I think change is exciting. I mean, at least I think for us, it's very exciting. I love change. I actually welcome change. Like I want change. It's hard for me to be in one spot too long before I want something different. And something with construction I thought was like the perfect job for me because I knew I wouldn't be on the same project forever, right? I might be on there for a year, 6 months, 2 years, and then I'm moving on to a different project, working with possibly a different team, and it's like you're kind of starting all over again. You have to figure out these things out, but it's all like brand new.
I mean, the thing too with like this real estate stuff, it's like there's different properties. If we're shooting 5 properties in a day, they're all cool, different houses, but the process is the same. And so I think you get the best of both worlds. You get consistency in a system that works with the change of the home, the change of the property, the change of the agent. And so it keeps it fresh, it keeps it exciting, but like the skill that we're using and the processes are the same.
Yeah.
What we can control.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's a win-win for that.
Yeah, no, definitely a win-win, and I love that. Right, we love like those systems. We're so system oriented because like we have to be organized because with any business, if you're someone who's starting a business or who is running a business, organization is key. If you want to scale, if you want to grow your business, you gotta have organization.
Yeah, and the one thing we can control in our own business, what we do for Soul Gold, is our process, our system, and basically how we treat people. And
Yeah,
that's
how we show
up. And so we're excited to share this with all of you guys. This is what's happening. This is what we've been working on. We are going to just hit the ground running basically. And I'm so excited for this change. I'm feeling refreshed after our trip. And yeah, so if you guys want to hear more about like how we've done this, let us know. Because it's definitely been a process, like a process.
Well, really, I think, it is a process, but at the end of the day, it's a decision. It's a decision you make to want that change. Change just doesn't happen. I'm sure like external life circumstances can happen, but I'm talking about the things that you can control, the things you can decide on. It becomes a decision. And sometimes it's hard for us to make that decision because of fear of the unknown. Like, if I do this, what if this happens, or what if that happens? And to me, what I ask myself, and this kind of helps me process through that when I'm in that like stage of like my decision making of like change, it's like, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? And so I already mentioned it. Like if this doesn't work out, we have things that we can do, right? We can fall back to what we already know, what we've done in the past, or we can fall all the way back to using our degrees. Who uses their degrees anymore? I mean, come on now. I'm just kidding, by the way. But going back to my point, it's like we just gotta make that decision. What's the worst that can happen? Fail forward, right? And if you fail, you learn from it. You lose nothing when you fail because you learn from it, or you are successful and you keep moving forward.
Yep. So we really hope that you guys feel encouraged by this. If you're feeling any like tension of wanting to change or move into a different direction, or if you're like Gina, ready to like do grad school and move across the country, like we'd love to hear those stories. And if you see us in person or you want to message us or comment below, honestly, we want to do these podcasts because we get to hear from you. And so if we don't hear from you, we don't know if you guys are enjoying the podcast. And so it would mean the world if you guys could subscribe and like this video, or subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. If you guys are just listening to the audio, it really does mean so much. I can't stop saying that you guys tune in every week because it really motivates us to keep going.
Oh yeah, and stay tuned for the vlogs. We did vlog our SoCal trip, so if you've made it this far, thank you so much. You get to hear this. I don't know when it's gonna come out yet. When it's done, it'll get done. But it'll be fun. You guys will kind of get to come along with us and see what we did on our trip and hopefully feel like you're there with us at the same time.
And get to know us a little bit more, because the podcast is it's just us sitting here chatting with you, and instead on the vlog you'll get to see like reactions and just how we
Yeah.
process, how we talk, how we think, what we wear, what we like to eat. There's so much more to us than just It's a Win-Win podcast, you know?
Yep. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching or listening to the podcast. So my name is Tommy Nguyen,
And I'm so Pawin.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace out.